myself looking at the news every night and I couldn't really look at anything else. And I have a newborn son, his name's Arthur, he's 6 months old, and I just thought about him and his mum, and if they were in that situation, what would I want for them? And the answer would be help. And I thought, okay, let's do something to help. What can we do? 2 idiots in a van, let's go get some stuff and take it to where it needs to be. We then took donations. We posted that night. We said, right, we'll take donations on Wednesday, and I think by about, 3 p.m. on Wednesday, this whole room, which is what we're using now, the garden room, was full down one side. We did not expect a response, and suddenly we started thinking, okay, well, we're nearly full, but how do we help more? And so we thought, okay, let's book another van. That came after a little conversation with a very lovely and very helpful gentleman who was in the EDP, Rob Scammell. He was running something, he's got some contacts, him and a colleague from Munsley, I think, got some contacts in Romania, and they were going to do something. He heard, or I'd seen that there was a number, I think, in the newspaper, so we got in touch with him, and he said, well, I've got other people, who were really interested in driving. So I thought, okay, right, let's start with that. Spoke to a really lovely gentleman called Duncan who came with us. He said, well, I'm up for it, I don't care what it costs, let's go do it. So I think Thursday we booked a second van. We then realised very quickly, with this room filling up as fast as it wasn't going to be enough space. So we spoke to the parish council, who were just so lovely and agreed to let us use the hall for free. So we moved up to the village hall, and well, the next sort of 96 hours just got crazier and crazier. It was amazing, very humbling, very, very humbling. Fortunately, we could only rent 2, but fortunately, we found lots of people who had their own vehicles and were willing to give their time as well as their vehicles to do it. And we just ended up in this, words kind of fail, to be honest, amazing situation, where we managed to take 6 large vans, 2 cars and a trailer all the way over. And yeah, it's still sinking in. We had a specific van that went to a slightly different depot that took, emergency medical supplies, so oxygen, other things along those lines, and really a full scope of things to sort of help people. I think another highlight for me was on the second day, we all discovered that WhatsApp, we could track each other's location. So from that, this sort of like boyish race across the continent, of course, no speed limits were broken in the making of this journey. But, we were all sort of tracking each other and timing our stops and trying to fill up as fast as we could and get out again. And there was a fun aspect to that as well. And I think, yeah, we all grew closer because of all those little interactions and things like that. The journey was good. Obviously, it was for a reason. And when we got to the hub eventually on day 2, it was very, very emotional, and that change was very sudden. It was all fun and games, and then we pulled into this strange place, and we were thinking, this is a bit odd. I'm not sure, are we in the right place? This is looking a bit strange. So we pulled around the corner. All the vans have sort of pulled in. We've gone around the corner, met this guy, and he sort of said to us, "Oh, you're from, the Banningham Crown? It's just one van?" And we're like, "No, 8 vans." He's like, "I don't understand." And I sort of pointed at the van and went like this, 8. And his face sort of dropped, and he got on the phone and he's sort of welling up and crying, and yeah, it was obviously very, very important to them, what we were doing, and from that point it all got, emotional. So I think it took all of us, everyone helped, sort of an hour, and that was, with the help of all the people that arrived later. What actually happened is when we arrived, Waldeck, it was him and 2 cadets, and they sort of looked at each other, and obviously as they realised there was a lot more vehicles, they were all on their phones, calling in help from all their friends and everything, and before you knew it, we had 20 people there plus the 16 of us, and it still took us an hour, to unload. But we got quite efficient, it was quite a good system, and at the end, we all shook hands, we had a hug. obviously from doing sort of dropping the stuff off, a few of us decided we were going to go to the border. We thought we've come all this way, and to get that close and not experience it was something, you know, we had to do it. It's a picture sort of like a valley, and through it you've got the border going through the middle, and sort of down one side you've just got trucks as far as the eye can see going in, you know, police escorts, you've got aid relief vans, you've got different lanes for different things, and all down the left side sort of coming out you've got tents and marquees, and they just go on and on and on as far as you can see. And we got there and it was an instant change of tone and feel. I can't really to this moment describe accurately in a word, but it was a mixture of sort of harrowing, dark, sad, wrong is probably the closest I can come to. There was some hope in there, let's not forget that. You know, there was good people helping, but it was just all wrong, you know. Some of the things we saw, people had problems that are beyond a measurable scale. We went into this tent and it was just a lot, you know. There's this people cooking soup in big bowls, you know, people, I don't want to say scrambling, but there's, you know, a bustle about the air to try and just get something to eat. I saw people with just a carrier bag, you know, literally their whole life in this carrier bag. I saw a boy who wasn't very old. I don't know if my other people clocked this actually, I haven't spoken to him about it. But he had a number written on his hand, you know, obviously in permanent marker, and he was like washing his other hand, so he didn't wash off the number on the other hand. And you just think to yourself, like, what has his journey been? You know, are his parents still there? You know, is this a safe number for him to call when he gets past? And yeah, it was just a lot, you know. And outside there's buggies like parked up, there's families just trying to stay together. I don't want to quite call it pandemonium, but there was this, because there was good work going on, you know, there was help, but there was this sort of dark chaos in the air, if you like. And yeah, afterwards, Tyrone, we drove a van together, we were just back in the van, and you know, for half an hour we didn't say a word to each other. There was no need. What was there to say? We left him in an aid camp, so hopefully he's found a new home somewhere. Who knows, one day he might appear somewhere. But yeah, people felt that it was a more direct way to help, I think, and that was very touching, it was very lovely, and as a result, people, you know, donations flooded in. We've still got the final paperwork and numbers and all sorts of things to figure out, but there's definitely going to be money left over from what people gave, and, you know, almost feel obliged to go again, which is wonderful.